Hey yo, what up? What up, bro? You want to come home? You want to come home? Nah. I'm good, yo. I'm good. I'm straight. Yeah, alright, yo. You ain't gonna be straight for too long. Don't say I ain't warn you. Don't say I ain't warn you. Go ahead then. Coming up next, I'm gonna give y'all this cold story on the shakedown the Bloods ran in this prison. Stay tuned, y'all, to the Prison Talk Show. What up, what up, what up? We are back. Who am I? Jersey Street Corner, and this is the Prison Talk Show, people. I'm back with another one, another banger for you. So sit back, get your popcorn, do what you do, because it's about to get real grimy. Alright, now, one of the first things my cousin Dee told me when we got back up together in the prison, he said, that's cool if I don't want to come home. That's cool if I don't want to be gang. But in order to make sure I was fully protected, I had to move like they moved. Meaning, when they moved on somebody, your boy had to be involved. Meaning, any rules that pertain to them pertain to me. I had to move within their atmosphere. And I was cool with that. Because it's not like there's nothing I hadn't been doing already anyway. If not more. So, one cold game that Dee introduced me to in the prison was the shakedown. Yeah, y'all. They called it the shakedown. All newbies that entered the pod got shook down immediately. That meant we all had jobs to do. So, first up, all I had to do was approach newbies when they first come in the pod, try and be the first one in their face. Because there's other gang members that's going to get in their face trying to recruit also. So, all my job was to go up to them, yo, what's good? What's good? You want to come home? You want to come home? I can show you the way. What's good? What's good? And you got to really badger them, y'all. You got to be all in their face. You got to, poke the bear. See if you got a jumper or you got a fighter. Now, most of the time, a lot of these cats would say, nah, I'm good. I ain't trying to do all that. And we'd be like, we're back up. We're just the first phase. We're back up. All right, cool. You don't say we ain't warn you, homeboy. Don't say we ain't offer you this opportunity to get down with the get down. And they'd be like, all right, man, all right, yeah, whatever, all right. Now, we will let that go ahead and we get a signal to the next round, which is not too far, away from where we having this whole, it's like a line they forced to walk. You enter the pod and you have to find your cell, which means you have to hit the stairwells. We got people strategically placed for these next episodes. Now, you didn't want to get down. Now somebody just gonna bump into you out of nowhere. Hard press. Bow! Hit your shoulder. What you gonna do? You don't know nobody in here yet. You ain't found none of your homies. What you fitting to do? You just gonna give them that stare down? You're gonna walk away like it didn't happen? What you do now determines the next few days of your bid, how it turns out. Because either you're gonna hit that gate or you're gonna join the force and become a soldier and learn not to run again. You choose. You want this the easy way or the hard way, young blood. So, we'll be doing that day in, day out, every week, every Wednesday. We over there hitting that gate. And the COs knew what was going on. They knew it was recruiting time. And, they couldn't do much about it. They not there 24/7. They switch shifts. So, the end of their shift, they leaving it right there in the prison. They going home to their family. They're not thinking about us. So, a couple cats, they would get down. They would jump at the opportunity and get down, especially the young ones. And that's what's up. Boom. Get them started on the crash out missions. And normally, those would be the ones that would help us crash out on the ones that refused. It's a cold game, y'all. I know y'all like, how you gonna force somebody to be in the gang? Hey, listen, man. When you in prison, numbers matter. The more soldiers you have, the better. So it's better they on your side than the other side. And the other side gonna do the same thing, if not worse, to get their numbers up. So you gotta toss morality out the door when it comes to prison. What's up ain't up. What's down ain't down in prison. You are in a parallel world where anything can happen. Stuff happens sideways. Stuff happens at the same time while something else is happening at the same time that affects you. And you don't even know it. Yeah, we're talking the Twilight Zone. Anyway, one of these newbies will walk through the door, and this Joker tried to act tough. This Joker said, man, I wish you would. I ain't joining nothing. Who gonna make me? Ain't none of y'all gonna make me do nothing. Join your punk ass gang. And dude had a big old bag of commissary he was coming in with. So he must have been a transfer from another prison or something. So automatically, you know, all of that don't mean nothing to the homies. They looking at him like fool. You see that bag? And he kicking up? Oh, nah, we're going to have a talk with old boy. See what room he go to. See what cell he go to. Josh, B Murder, they go peep it out. They see the cell number. 219. All right. We're going to creep up in there. Go up in there and see what's good with them. So now, about 7 of them go up the stairs. I'm already upstairs, y'all. I'm waiting by the side of the cell. I'm waiting for them to get a word to run up in there. 7 of them coming up the stairs. And as soon as they get to the door, we bum rush it. Bum rush up in there. Grab dude up, put him in a full Nelson. Everybody giving him rib checks. Bang, bang, bang. Same time, they cleaning that lock out. He just put it in, we taking it right on out. Right into a pillowcase. Woof, woof, woof. Snatching it all up. Now, in the middle of smacking him all up, they ain't even stomping him out yet. I'm holding him. Got him in the full Nelson. Yo, who exactly are you? Who you think you are? You know who we be? Do you know who we be? And he's sitting there spitting. He spit blood out his mouth right in the homie face. And well, after that, y'all, I let him go because I already knew. And I wasn't fitting to be on the bottom end of what he was about to receive. All I'm sure he remembers seeing was size 9, size 12, size 10, state boot to the face. They started kicking and slamming and, oh my gosh, jabbing, jigging, put something on him. Then, y'all, after all of that, we dragged him out to the tier. Now, mind you, this happened on the second tier. Dragged him out to the tier. Me, Josh, Dee, B Murder, lifted old boy up, tossed him right over the tier. Right over the tier, y'all. Now, he wasn't going to get on the live from this. Like I said, it was a second tier, small drop, something we used to do when we was kids, although he was, you know, stretched out and not able to tuck and roll or none of that. But hey, we wasn't done with him anyway. So now after that, the people on the first tier, the Bloods over there, dragged him into another cell on the first tier and commenced to stomping him out some more. They ain't care he just fell from the top tier. They ain't checked to see if his head was hurt or anything like that. Nah, dragged him into another cell, start stomping him out some more. Everybody saw the disrespect earlier. He was talking crazy. Oh, you new in the pod and you talking crazy like that? Nah, you got to get up out of here, homeboy. And let this be a message to anybody watching. Y'all want to talk slick? It's either get down or lay down. He chose to lay down. So he getting his medicine right now. They put old boy on the gate, dang near crippled. He had to have some broken ribs. Probably a couple of cheekbones was broke. He had raccoon eyes. Face was all puffy. Teeth probably was popped out like chiclets. That dude learned the hard way. From that day forward, y'all, we continued to run that game. And the legend of that game carried so much weight, we didn't get very much pushback. We got a lot of yeses. We got a lot of no's, but we ain't get anybody disrespecting ever again. Now, let me explain to y'all what exactly happened to the people that said no. Now, you got to understand, people, if you said no, you had three choices at that point for survival. Either A, reconsider your choice and join the Bloods. B, join another gang. Or C, hit that gate. Because now you're entering the third phase. I told you, it's three phases that we walk you through from the time you enter that pod to the time you say no. So, let's say one of the Bloods approach you and you say, nah, you good. We're going to let you go ahead to that stairwell, get that hard bump, that stare down, give you something to think about, and let you go about your business. No drama. Now, we're going to watch and observe you for the next, say, 2 to 3 days. And watch your movements. See who you move with. See if you getting down with another clique or you staying neutron. And let me tell you something. May God help you if you plan on staying neutron. Because if you think you're going to just walk through this jail, this prison with commissary, nah. You're going to have to pay a tax, homeboy. You could be a neutron, but you're going to have to pay a tax. Just like all of the businesses in New York had to pay a tax to the mob, you have to pay a tribute if you want to live in this pod and stay neutron. That means all the wars we go through in this prison, you are excluded from. That means we got to protect you in a sense. So you got to pay a tax for us putting our lives on the line, being the front runners of this prison. Now, what you gonna say? What you gonna say? Somebody tell you all of that, people? You gonna argue with them, or you gonna pay that tax? And the tax ain't light, y'all. The tax is half of whatever you got. So, some jokers try and lie and say they don't got that much or whatever. Now, you gotta run with that same energy your whole bid. That means if you say you struggling, you gotta really struggle your whole bid, because the minute one of the homies see you doing good, you over there stacked up with soups and Jack Mac and stamps and soda, oh, they running down because you lied. We get 50%, homeboy. And that's the hard press. Ain't nobody gonna do nothing about it. No talking. Either give up that commissary or lie down. So, this will happen time and time again, people. people will say nah, and it would even happen to the point where sometimes some of these jokers will end up saying, yo, let me just join. Let me just join, man. Let me just join. I can't take this no more. I can't take this no more. Y'all keep robbing me. Y'all keep robbing me. It's not cool, man. Let me just join. I swear, I'll get down. So that's how you get a lot of soldiers down, by fear. And eventually they get into it. They become family, and it is what it is. That's just, the brainwash effect, y'all. Get down with the get down. Now, there has been a few times where some of the people that said no to us ran over to the Crips or Kings simply because they ain't like us, which is understandable. Then you had some of them that hit the gate. Then you had some of them that, paid for protection. That was another cold game that I'll get into on another video. But that went along with staying neutron and paying the tax. That was another cold game. Boy, that tax will get you. Now, occasionally, you will have the ones that still said no to none of the gangs. They ain't want a part of none of the gangs. And there were other monsters lurking around these prisons, y'all. Monsters that even the gangs couldn't tame. Yeah, y'all. There were other monsters in these prisons, and I've spoke about some of them in my other videos that you're just going to have to go and watch. But Harry Oh My, the Punisher, the Finisher, C4. There were booty monsters. Yep, cheek busters in these prisons. And well, without the protection of your gang, you was fresh meat. So unfortunately, y'all, I've seen a couple of dozen guys get thrown to the Punisher. A couple of dozen guys get thrown to Booty Bama Bang Bang. A couple of dozen guys got thrown to the Finisher. Yeah, y'all. And all of these guys that I'm talking about, you never see them again in the regular pods. They still be in the prisons, but they be lurking somewhere on C-Pod with CJ and all the punks. Yeah. Or maybe back in protective custody, because they can't live around these parts. I seen it go down. Front line. And a lot of times you gotta weigh your odds. What's gonna be the best situation for you? If you are nobody and you find yourself in a prison where you don't know nobody, you might want to reconsider joining that gang. And I hope y'all don't come at me in the comments and think that I'm giving bad advice. But listen, y'all young boys gotta survive. And I don't want to see none of y'all turn to prison wives out there. So, point blank, you find yourself in a situation like that where you're in a prison, you don't know nobody, I would strongly advise you at least consult a gang, one of your choosing, and talk about the options you have. Because that's one part that people don't also talk about. Just because you want to be in a gang or you attempt to be in a gang doesn't mean you make it. Not everybody that said yes made it. And I'll tell you why. Because 30 seconds in a cell, oh, that's brutal. What do I mean by 30 seconds? Fight for 30 seconds in a cell. You gotta try and stay on your feet. And if you fall, you gotta get back up. Meanwhile, you got about 5 or 6 bloods pounding you out. Pause. Knuckles. Bow. Kicking you. Bow. All that. They trying to see if you got what it takes to be a soldier. Are you going to get back up and keep fighting? Are you going to get back up? It's only 30 seconds. You could do a blood. You could do a blood. What's with it? Now, a lot of people don't make it past that 30 seconds, y'all. Now, there's other things that you could do without spreading too much of the business. Like, you gotta hurt somebody. You gotta go and crash out on one of the ops. That's gonna get you in right there. And when I say crash out, I mean run up $150. Something crazy. Run up, smash somebody with the fan right across their head to their teeth popping out. You gotta do something crazy. You might have to take that, 9 months of lockup. You might have to, poke somebody up real quick. Not unalive them, but you might have to poke somebody up real quick to get that stain. You gotta let them know that you're willing to put that work in. So, if you really ain't about that life and you know you ain't got it in you, stick with your answer of no and take what comes. Pay that tax. Pay that tax if you know you ain't got what it takes. You know what I mean? Don't be an idiot. Alright, listen. That's gonna be it for this one. I've explained the cold game. And by the way, y'all, this same story I'm telling y'all right now, you could look it up, you could ask anybody. This is exactly the reason why you could ask a lot of different bloods in different countries what their birth was, when they came home, and they're going to say it was a result of the shakedown. Yeah, the shakedown didn't just stay in this prison. It went from prison to prison to prison. It carried on. The shakedown birthed many bloods. They came on home and got loyal. And that's just what it was. Alright, y'all. It's your boy JS Corner. With that, I'm going to get on up out of here. Like, share, subscribe. And y'all already know. Get in that comment box. Hit the hype button. I'm out.